market better, let's use the PESTLE Analytical Tool to analyze the market for us. So the first thing we have here, and when I mean the PESTLE, what does this do? It tells us what would influence the market. That is what it tells us. What will influence the market? That is what this tool will help you to understand. So first, we have politics. A lot of the time, you don't understand, you see most of the large corporations or outside large corporations, you see their CEOs, they are all focused on, they hardly take side with specific political parties. You can sit here. They hardly take side with any political party or any political candidates because they know whoever wins is their. Why? Because the political scene is the most powerful space, even in the business environment. The political space, politics is a strategy on its own. That is why you see the likes of Dangote, they get monopoly on some certain things, and you are wondering why they have to donate money to almost all the top political parties during presidential election. And that is because they know the power of politics. Okay, so how would politics influence, or how has politics influenced the real estate business last year and also coming this year? The first political event that is going to influence the business environment is the emergence or the return of Donald Trump. Okay? And why, what does Donald Trump has to do with the Nigerian business space? Because we rely on a lot of money coming outside, coming from the developed countries. We have about 40 to 50% of the real estate money in Nigeria coming from the diasporas. So with the emergence of Donald Trump and a lot of policies that he will be bringing into the system, that would influence, and he has already said it, some of the free money we have been enjoying in Nigeria, such money will not come anymore. Because he has said his focus is based on his country. That is the first priority, the well-being of his citizen. He will tax foreign organizations, okay, foreign citizens, more than he would tax the citizens of his own country. Okay, so, and that would mean reduced amounts of inflow from the foreign space. Okay, so these are facts you need to understand. Then within the Nigeria space, last year we saw something very unique in the Nigerian real estate market. From 2023 to 2024 experience, and that is due to the last presidential election or the last general election, where in a place it impacted the biggest real estate market more because it was influencing the kind of politics that was played in Lagos, where some tribes were told to go back to their place, some tribes felt marginalized and all of that. That led to emotional decisions. Not logical ones, emotional decisions. And what do I mean by emotional decisions? Some people will say, I don't want to buy property in Lagos again. Like the Igbos, I don't want to buy properties in Lagos again. I want to go to my place to buy property. Yes, they are going to their place to buy property. But the reason of going to their place is not because of the viability of those markets. Okay? They didn't go to their place because of the viability. And that is why some of those markets that experienced sudden boom are already declining. Because there was nothing to sustain the market. Are we together? So these are facts you need to understand. As a realtor, some of you call yourself consultant. I don't know what you are consulting, Sha, but but if you are to go by the real estate consultant, and a real estate consultant is more or less like an investment portfolio manager. Okay? And as a portfolio manager, there are things you are expected to do. I want to invest. It's not when I need land. I have 2 million naira of 10 million naira or 500 million naira or 1 billion naira to invest. I want to what 10 trillion or 2 trillion or 100 billion in the next 10 years. You as a portfolio manager is supposed to give me the formula on how to achieve that. This is where I am now. I'm only worth $1 billion naira, but my destination is to become 100 billion naira rich in the next 5 or 10 years. How do I achieve it? That is your work. So you have to tell me, okay, this is the new area to invest in. This is the kind of property you should invest in now. This is the city that is emerging. So that's the reason why I actually took you through the emerging cities. This is the city that is emerging now. So if you buy right now, at this stage now, we'll be able to gain more advantage, okay? Or, okay, no, for now, don't buy Lagos again. Buy Suso location, or don't buy land again. Start buying house for cash flow. It is your job as a realtor. Not to be shouting, as you can see, as you can see. As you can see, I don't know what you are saying. So let's proceed. Politics. Now, politics has a lot of power to either close, destroy your business, or help grow your business. So you must understand where the politics is directed at and learn to connect or put your strategy alongside with it. So now, economy. Politics has the little money here controls what is here. Let me ask, what's the current Nigerian budget? Let me even know those who have forgotten. What's the current Nigerian budget? Hello? 24 trillion. Is she correct? I need a response. I need a response from you guys. What's the Nigerian budget, please? Nigerian budget, business people. Nigerian budget.
49 trillion.
Sorry?
49 trillion.
49 trillion. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, let's say 49 trillion. What's the size of the Nigerian economy? 49 trillion dollar or naira?
49.7 trillion naira.
Naira. Now, what is the total Nigerian economy? What's the size of the Nigerian economy? I think Nigeria currently is also the third or the fourth or fifth economy in Africa. Yet we are boasting that we are the giant of Africa. $194 billion is the size of the Nigerian economy. Thank you. So 49 trillion naira, remember, is controlling, what did you say? What did you mention again? One what? $194 billion. Right? This and this, which is larger? 194 is larger. Now, but this is what controls 194. This money is the government budget, right? So whether this would grow or it would decline is dependent on how this is spent. Few persons, few amounts, but controls the entire money in the economy. So the point I'm making is that don't, as a business person, never say, I'm not a politician. Okay? Because even in the business space, politics works. And I'll show you some strategies you can use to use politics to your advantage today. Okay? But let's proceed. So the economy, will the Nigerian economy grow or decline? For now, it is uncertain. Because 90% of the experts that were interviewed or were the forecasts that were made, there was no certainty that this is, whether it will be positive or it will be negative. There are a lot of factors that will determine that, the positive nature or like the Donald Trump being in power, some of our policies. Yes, the government has actually started some good policies that will likely improve the Nigerian naira and all of that. With the whole, currently now, some of the people who used to import crude or fuel from other countries are now trying to be buying from Dangote refinery and all of that. All of that will bring inflow into the country. Hopefully, Bua also complete, because the Bua refinery is about 60-something% completed. Hopefully, he also complete his own faster and more inflow into the country. So the government is actually putting things in place. Now, if you export goods, the number of days that money must stay outside before you bring it back into the country and all of that. So hopefully, there are some positive signs in the part of the government that will make the economy to grow. Because the truth is, when there's more money in the system, you have more people who will buy your properties. Okay? When there's more money in the system, you have more people to be able to purchase your property. That is the focus. Okay, so now social, how does this influence social-cultural? This is social-cultural. How does this influence your business as a realtor? You must understand the way of life of people where you own property or where you're trying to market property. Let me give you an example for those developers here or that intend to become developers. When you are buying property from a place like Lagos, you go to the family, negotiate, pick coordinates, go to Alausa for vetting and all of that, you can start transacting. Now, you can't try that in a place like Asaba. Neither can you even do that in Enugu currently. Why? If you must get genuine property in a place like Asaba, you must do what I call 3-factor authentication. You must do verification with the government, but verifying the property with the government does not give you guarantee that the person that's trying to sell the property owns the property. So, and in that place, there is also the cultural setting that says that if you are doing a real estate transaction with any community or family, all the elders in that community must have their signature in that document. If their signature is not in that document, that transaction is null and void. So if you don't understand some of these things, you go there to transact. That is their way of life. Okay, for some places in Asaba or in the Asaba environment, when you buy something, when you buy land, you need to give 20%, pay 20% of that money again, the total cost of that land, to the community chiefs for them to pen their signature on that document. So you need to, so when you, and this is the reason why some Lagos companies that rushed to Asaba lost their properties. I know few that were already allocating, but they lost the property even at the point of allocation. They've allocated to customers, and today when you go back to that place, the estate is no more in existence. Why? Because they got it from the wrong person. The point I am making is that when you are going into any location to do business, you must understand the socio-cultural behavior of people around the place. How do these people transact real estate? There is no fixed method of transacting. If you go to a place like Kenya, a place like Nairobi and all of that, you would notice that when even Ivory Coast, when you buy a land for the purpose of real estate, the government immediately move and start constructing road from whichever location to your estate. That is the responsibility of the government. They provide lights from wherever light end to that location. That is the responsibility of the government. So you need to understand how real estate is done in different places. Because I've mentioned 5 states where real estate is, or cities where real estate is going to boom this year. Some of you might just take it up and say, okay, let's go to those locations. And you might end up getting your fingers burnt. Why? Because you don't understand the way of life of people around that place. And not just the way of life, not only in this sense, or in terms of how do people prefer to transact real estate. In some places, lands are inherited. Okay? So there are some places you can't buy some specific land. There's some land that they say is meant for the first son of the family. So you can't buy that kind of land. So or where they bury their ancestors. You can't buy those type of land. So these are things you need to understand about the social. Then we'll move to technology. Technology is an enabler. So the point I'm just going to say about technology is that you must embrace technology to the fullest this year. If you must get ahead this year, you must embrace technology. Because technology will either make some people's business. You must embrace ChatGPT. You must embrace AI in doing your business. You don't, when I reach out to you, maybe I fill your form this year, right? When I fill your form this year, you don't need to wait I don't need to wait for you to start. Well, maybe you went for inspection, I filled your form, I'll be waiting for you to respond. That is not going to help you this year. Your system should be able to, when somebody fills the form, should be automatically be able to start sending message and start a conversation even before you get there. So time is a major factor because currently most digital platforms, this is what they do now. I see a real estate ad. Sorry, ma, what's your name? Juliet. I see a real estate ad from Juliet. I click on it. I fill the form and I'm expecting her to get back to me. And maybe in the next 1 hour, few minutes or even minutes or seconds, I decide to refresh my page or go to another, that same, let's say it's Instagram ad. I start scrolling through Instagram again. I'll start seeing other ads that are coming from other realtors immediately. So it's a game of who gets back to me first. So while I fill your form waiting for you, I start seeing other real estate ad immediately. So if you don't get back to them on time, whoever gets back to me first is assumed to be the most serious person. And if the person has a good offer, I will go with that person. While you are busy and say, we'll get back to you in 24 hours. 24 hours there's no more 24 hours. Statistic now shows that if you can get back to people within 5 to 10 minutes of filling your form, the probability of closing that transaction is 60% higher. So how fast do you get back to people? So technology. Automation is going to be, and this is controlled by automation. So automation is going to be a big thing in the industry this year. Some of you overwork yourself because things you should be automating, you are the one doing it. Only you are a video editor, videographer, photographer. You go on inspection. You are your social media manager. You do everything. You take client for inspection, both the ones that are willing to buy and the ones that are not willing to buy. Before you finish all of those activities, you are exhausted. You can't meet up with the demand. This year, the secret to scaling is automating some of the operations. But how can you automate this process when you don't even understand your daily activities? Okay? You need to understand every day, when I wake up on Monday, what are the things I am supposed to do? When I wake up on Tuesday, what are the things I ought to do? When somebody called me on phone, what kind of message, how do I do my conversation? When somebody fills my form and I'm supposed to send emails, what are the emails? For somebody who has come for inspection, what type of email am I supposed to send? The one that is still negotiating, what kind of email should I send? The one that I've made initial deposit, what kind of email should I send? The one that just picked a form, what kind of email should I send? So if you have all of these things noted down, then it will be easy for you to automate. So I know that every Monday I'm supposed to send emails for those who have made initial deposit. I automate it there. So I have everyone who have made initial deposit, I add their emails to that group of people. So the system automatically sends them email. Anyone who is just picking a form for the first time and has not made payment, I already have a template of email I'm supposed to forward to that kind of person, and I know that I just need to add this email to those group of people who have picked form, and the system send them email at the right time. That is one of the things that will give you a competitive advantage this year. Legal. These and these are almost the same. Politics and legal activities are almost the same because now, what is your legal structure you have in place? You have a business, your business is registered. What is the legal structure you have in place? If, let's say you want to advertise, this is a house, you want to advertise this house for me, and a client come and shows interest in the property. What next? Are you expecting the client to pay? Do you do your verification on the property, or is it when the client have showed interest you do your verification? Do you have a legal person in your team that is in charge of vetting the land and every other thing that is needed, or the house, the documents, before you allow your client to make payment? Is the client, are you for the client, or are you for the company? How do you operate? You must have a system of operation. If you are for the client, because if you are not for the client decides to take a barrister, his own lawyer, to vet the document and notice that the documents are not the way they are supposed to be. The client will categorize you and the developer as fraudulent. But if you initiate the process, you should be able to tell them, okay, this property, though you like the property, I've checked it, it is not good enough, I wouldn't want you to buy this property. I had two realtors who had this experience, I think late last year, talking about Tosin and Tosin Wincover and one other of our upcoming realtor in our enclave. Tosin inspected the property with a client and noticed that the property was, I think the registered survey was showing the property is somewhere in Brahmadesoya, but when the registered survey, the coordinate was charted, the land was located in a different place entirely. Now, it was easy for her to still retain the customer because she actually, the lawyer is a lawyer, the surveyor is a surveyor, so they were able to tell the client, please don't make payment, this is what we noticed, and all of that. Now, the next realtor who had a similar experience, because she didn't have a legal system in place, when they got to the property, the customer said, what's next? He said, bring lawyers so that we can come and verify the property. And when the lawyer came in, verified the property, and they never got back to her again. Now, after a while, she actually called me and said, that client I took to inspection, I have not heard from him. I call him now, only to call him, and we have verified the property. The property is, so document is not genuine. And why didn't you tell me? Let me talk to you. He said, don't bother again because we've already made payment in another place. So the point is that your legal structure will determine. And when I talk about legal, some of you are complaining that UK client like, mortgage. Now, the thing is, even as a realtor, you can talk to mortgage firms and work with them to be able to provide your clients mortgage arrangements. Okay? So it's not mandatory that if the company that is selling the property or that owns the property does not have mortgage, that you can't do mortgage. So the idea is that look at the challenges people are going through in the industry and see how innovative approach. Imagine 100 people are not buying because they needed mortgage, and you are able to make that arrangement in the system. You have just 100 customers to yourself. People will be wondering, how is this person able to make the sales? Not knowing that you have a private arrangement with a mortgage. For any time you have a client that needs mortgage, you take the customer to them, you vet the customer and vet the company, and you're able to close the deal. So the idea about strategy is about picking, where to play, how to play, and your winning aspiration. How do you want to win? That's the idea. How do you want to win? What would you achieve in 2025? And you will say, yes, I have succeeded in 2025. What needs to happen for you to say 2025 was a success? Are we together? Are we together? Environment. Now, environment mostly affects more of developers, though. Environment. How is your product affecting the environment? Is it negatively or positively? There is a statistic that says that Lagos will disappear in 50 years' time. You guys are aware? Yeah. Okay. So where will you be then? All this plenty property you are busy selling. So the point is your development going to contribute to increase the pace at which Lagos will disappear? Or will it help to make Lagos not to disappear? Okay? Because the truth is that some of you don't know that there's a lot of money in the real estate space, in the international space. Okay? There's a lot of money for developers. But you must meet certain criteria to be able to access such fund. And one of them that I know very well is your compliance with the ecosystem, the environment. How is your product, your real estate development preserving the environment? All of this goes a long way. So don't just build. Okay? Don't just build. Come up, everybody's building block house in Nigeria. Must you build block house? Must you build block house? Because for you to say affordable homes, because everybody likes to mention affordable homes. If, with the way things are going, very soon there will be nothing like affordable homes in Nigeria if we keep using block to build houses. So you need to think of innovative method. How do I build and provide? Because the middle class is the largest market. So how would you, or the lower class, the poor people, how would you provide home even for the poor and still make profit out of it? I saw a video of recent, somebody was talking about comparing developers in the US to developers in Nigeria, talking about the kind of houses we build, how the fire that is currently taking place in what part of US is taking down houses and burning the houses, and you even notice that there was house there before. And that is because of the kind of structures they build in those areas. They are making their money. That nobody, because let me say this, there's something some of you realtors like, or even developers like to do. If no one else is doing it in the industry, we feel we can't do it. I remember I advised one of my clients about the need to start podcast. Is anybody doing that one? That was the question she asked me. Is anybody doing that one in the real estate space? I said, I didn't ask you because I didn't tell you to do it because someone is doing it in the real estate space. Okay, well, I will think about it. Now, when Confidence started our podcast, she called me, Mr. Chris, that's our idea. Confidence, I said, it's your idea. It's not your idea. The idea doesn't belong to you. Okay? So, that people are not doing it does not mean that it will not work. Okay? So that's the point we just need to take note of. All right? So, now back to the emerging cities. So I will just break down the emerging cities for you to. Now, I just mentioned them in the previous this thing. Now I want to explain each of them. After I found out something very funny or strange of recent. When you take away Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt, where is the next place with the highest price for land in Nigeria? After removing Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt, after these three cities, where do we have the most? Where are the other places where lands are more expensive in Nigeria? Enugu is the next. Strange. But Enugu has, Now, that is because Enugu has been trading on land for a very long time. Land transaction or real estate, they might not call it real estate, but land business is not new in Enugu. That is one thing you need to take note of. And now, currently, for developers, should you enter Enugu or should you not? Is there prospect in Enugu? In terms of prospect, there's a lot of prospect in Enugu currently. The governor is doing an amazing job there. Then, it is also the most peaceful city in the southeast of Nigeria. The most peaceful city in the southeast. More peaceful than Anambra, more peaceful than Owerri, Imo State, the most peaceful city. Far now, Abia, where unknown gunmen are. The reason why Abia State real estate, even with the work the governor is doing, is not really gaining much movement is because of insecurity. If not, if it is based on what the government is doing, Abia State should have taken the forefront. But people in Abia State currently would rather buy land in the developed environment than buy land in developing environment because you have to go inside the bush. And most people are scared of entering the bush. The fear of being kidnapped by unknown gunmen or being... So, but let's focus on Enugu first. Enugu, right? So, currently Enugu, the governor is taking possession of almost all the land. So, the first thing you need to note is that if you want to enter Enugu market, don't go and be looking for land that are not what you call freehold, because the government can take it anytime. Don't go for freehold. Even register survey is scary because the governor is taking... Now, what the governor is trying to do is that he wants to control the real estate markets in Enugu State. So the safe land to buy is land with C of O. That is the safe land to transact in Enugu. Now, the governor, on the other hand, decided to increase land registration, register survey from 750 to 2-point-something million naira. And why is it doing this? There are different theories to this. But to me, I see someone who is trying to make the point of market entry difficult. Because when the point of market entry is difficult, it reduces the number of refrats that enters the market. In Lagos, you can be in secondary school and you want to start your own real estate company. If you lose that first money, you don't have money to continue the business again, those that have bought from you before. So he's trying to make the process difficult. So whoever is coming into it knows that he has the capability to do the business. And even if you must buy land in Anambra as a developer, Enugu as a developer, you must have somebody in power. You must affiliate yourself with someone in power to be able to transact land without CFO with ease. So either somebody, politician, DSS, like two of my clients who have properties there now, we've had to go through a DSS officer, give him some percentage for him to use with his influence to buy the property, because the property is actually in the community of the governor. Talking about Owo or whatever they call that place. So these are things, but when it comes to development, the state is fast developing, the governor is working. Okay, so property, the area is fast developing, properties are fast appreciating because of the work he's doing. So if you talk about, is there market? Yes, there is market. Is it peaceful? Yes, it is peaceful. But if you can dabble around the whole activities of the governor, being able to get the right land and all of that. So most of the few Realtors group, or the only notable Realtors group you find there now, they no longer sell land for companies that don't have C of O. Okay? So these are things or basic things you should know about the Enugu market for those of you that are developer or from companies that wants to expand into emerging markets. So this is one of the emerging markets where the transaction is influenced, or the growth of the market is influenced by what the governor is doing. Second, you have Ibadan. Though Ibadan is actually the number one when it comes to the emerging market. Now, this market have more prospect than any other place, the Ibadan market. Why? Because currently, the governor is making, why Enugu is increasing the cost of processing land documents, he is reducing and making the process easier. And with the 2 years ago, Lagos, Oyo, Ogun, and I think, what do you call them? These other states. Ondo, they signed a memorandum of understanding to they now have a master plan that covers the entire Yoruba state, that they will set out money aside to be developing the states together. Okay, so with that being said, Lagos would expand into all of those places. Okay, so that means there's a lot of prospect, and some people like Shell has a gas project there, the dry seaport that is coming, and all of that are factors that are going to influence the market. And there are a lot of projects that the governor has launched, though none is completed or even started. But the point is, they will definitely start one day or be completed one day. So the market, even if it does not work due to government project, it would work due to the expansion of the Lagos population into those places. All they need currently is road, good road that will connect you. Thank God for the train. People live comfortably in Ibadan. One, it has a very low cost of living. You can live comfortably in Ibadan and work in Lagos. Okay? So these are factors you need to understand about the Ibadan market. So let's proceed. The next is Abeokuta. This market, there's not really much to say about this market. Rather, agriculture and low housing scheme is what works here. Low housing scheme. So let me say this clearly now. You can't go to a place like Abeokuta and be going to build duplex for sale. You build bungalows. That's what sells in a place like Abeokuta. If you want to excel in that market, that's what will sell there. And not that is what we sell. I have about 2 clients who have building projects that are almost sold out. So it is not a must for anybody or for everybody to start from Lagos. Some of you in a few years or a few days, a few months time, I say, me too, I don't make sale now. It's time for me to become a developer. And the next thing is you start thinking of how to start in Lagos. Soon, this word, affordable, will not exist in Lagos real estate market. Soon, this word affordable can't exist in Lagos real estate market anymore. So if it will not exist and you are looking for your mantra or your mission is to provide affordable real estate, then you need to look for where you can provide that service. So that is the concept. Okay, so take note of that. So agriculture and low housing scheme, perfect for Abeokuta markets. Though Abeokuta, let me also tell you one fact about Abeokuta. Abeokuta has a lot of land grabbers as well. Those guys, they can be fraudulent when it comes to land transactions, a lot. So for you, those of you that are developers or intending developers, please watch your back very well when going into this market. This market, they can sell one land to 20 people. So take note of that. Now, the next thing is, or the next market, sorry, is Uyo. That is Akwa Ibom State. An oil-rich state, one of the states with the highest oil well currently. And currently, they're also having their private refinery. That is what Boa, the owner of Boa Smith, is building a refinery there. The refinery is about 60-70% completed. Highest 2026, the refinery should be in operation, all things being equal. So that is driving the real estate market. It is also peaceful, calm. Real estate is doing well there, or will be doing well there, because the prospect of having a refinery there, and there are ExxonMobil is there. There are a lot of oil companies that know Uyo very well. So it's a place I've worked indirectly before. So you can do your real estate business there. Though the market is still very small. What I mean is that this is one thing, how does real estate really work? Let me give you one thing. Provided the population of indigene is more than the population of indigene in a place. Okay? When population of indigene is more than non-indigene, real estate can't thrive because indigenes don't buy land. Indigenes inherit land. So that's the secret of real estate. Study the rate at which non-indigenes are moving to a city, or a business or an industry has come to an area, a city that will attract non-indigene to that place. It means real estate will start doing well soon. But if the population of the non-indigene are more, that is what you enjoy in Lagos. The 20 million or 19 million people you talk about in Lagos, very few of them are actually Lagosians. Okay? So these are things you need to understand. So when we talk about emerging markets, what is the population of the non-indigene as compared to the population of the indigene? If you can have this understanding, your work will be easy. You can expand into, this is how we analyze the growth in a real estate market. Okay? So, that takes me to my next slide. Because I'm taking you through this route because you might be wondering, is this what we want to learn? Me, I just want to sell. Because the thing is that some of you have been using the strategy of phase one, of stage one, to sell or try to sell in this, what is supposed to be sold in the strategy or the phase of phase 6 or phase 5. These are the different stages every city or every industry undergo, especially the real estate industry. This is how it undergoes. The first, I just mentioned the emerging stage. I was talking about most of these cities actually getting to the emerging stage. Now, the emerging stage. At this stage, what is sold is land. That is what is available. No much development, bushy areas. It is investment, buying and holding. That's what thrives in this era. In this era, sometimes you will see either governments getting involved by making the process easy or getting involved and making the process harder, as compared to what is happening in Ibadan and what is happening in Enugu. The both government, even Abia State too, came into the picture and made the process of land. Now they reduced, I think you can process your CFO within a week. Within a week, you can process your CFO in Abia State. The price, they also reduced it for you. Okay? So these are things you need to take note of. So the emerging stage. Lands are now being opened up for people to buy. Sometimes what the government even do is that, like what happened in Ekpe. Ekpe land initially was more of forestry and agriculture. It was later changed for part of it to be used for residential. Okay, and that is where some developer ended up buying even the one that was still reserved for agriculture. Okay, so, and when government makes such turn, you need to ask yourself, what aspect? Okay, so at this stage, land is what is selling. You will see developers moving into the market. At this stage, you don't need much development. You just need to maybe hold your land by fencing at most, and people would buy. because nobody wants to build there for now. You don't need to provide any major infrastructure. People would buy. So, that is what the emerging stage is about. Sales of land. And after the emerging stage comes the growth stage. At this stage, people are beginning to have expectations in the market. The market is beginning to expand. More players are now in the market. Bigger players are now coming into the market. That is what you see at this stage, at the growth stage. Customers are beginning to have expectation. At this stage, there are not really much expectation. But here, people are beginning to have expectation. Just like, let me use Lagos to explain this to you. 2014, I've been in the industry since 2014. Now, from that 2014, when Ibejileki was selling, I know then one of the properties from one of the companies I was consulting for, which I also bought from, we didn't even access the land. We parked somewhere, and the signboard was fixed like the gates, but we can see the signboard. You say, see the signboard here? That is our estate. And where does it end? You see that tree that side? And we could see plenty trees, but they said that one, that side. And we just still accepted and bought. Okay? At that point, people would buy. They don't ask for anything. It is very affordable. People buy. I think I bought land in Ibejileki, 450,000 naira. So, that is what people bought. So, but when you get to the growth stage, at this point, some things are beginning to come into the market. At this point, there was no fencing, no gatehouse, nothing at all. Just signboard. It wasn't even cleared. It was while they are buying, they started clearing some parts. But at this stage, people expect you to at least clear. People expect you to at least fence. Okay? Take possession. At this point, taking possession of your property is what people want to see. Why? Because at the resulting effect of this stage will determine how people will act at this stage. Because most people who buy here sometimes end up losing the property. Because there was no proper documentation. No proper document was in place. So people end up losing. And these people that will start buying here would have heard stories of those who lost their properties, who bought and never got allocated. So, and the money as a developer, the amount you need to start here is also very small. Because at this stage, anybody can come into the market. The families in those locations are still very naive. They are ready to sell for you per plot 200,000. But the thing is that when you get to those who did not sell here, families that did not sell here, when they come here, they start selling higher. And as they're selling higher, these people will start feeling, so we just wasted our land. And some of them will start coming to ask you for more money. Some of them will look for a way to resell the land that they've sold to you here so that they can refund. Some will want to refund you if you are not willing to add more money. And what is the expectation of customer? You need to possess. Possession is what is the key thing. And after the growth stage comes to the development stage or the developing stage. At this stage, you start seeing basic infrastructure. Now, most developers lose the market when they move from one stage to another. Some people, companies that I know that were in the market selling Ibejileki as at 2014, today they are no more in existence in this Lagos. I know companies that were in existence selling Ibejileki. Their office is not even available again, which means they have shut down. And so is the money that people paid. Okay? So, these are factors you need to know. When you come to this stage, people want to see you. This stage, people would also expect documents, some level of documents from you. But at this stage, development. And this is where the Ibejileki market is currently. This is the stage where the Ibejileki market is. People want to see that you have fence, you have cleared, you have put gatehouse, you have some basic infrastructures in place. Now, the challenge now is with some developers, They try to use the money that is needed to operate here to operate here. They will say, that time I was working, like some of you that are working in real estate companies, when I was working in Reseda, we don't use to fence, we just need to buy small amount and we just start operation. Please don't try it. Because the time you are starting, Reseda is already here. They have started developing. So when you decide to start your own, because you felt when they started, they were doing things that are here, you decide to start doing things that are here at this stage. Those are the people that are struggling in the market. So like I was telling my team that this year, I'm not going to pity anybody. Don't tell me we are just starting. I don't have money. You must bring money for us to render service for you. Money is what defines what we do for you this year. So, development. So you must sell, if you want to make sales, you must sell properties for developers that are already putting infrastructures in place to develop the area. Now, people have started building projects in Ibejileki already. While you are still trying to build this, people are already building in Ibejileki. Okay? So these are things you need to take note of. Now, when you come to a place like Aja, VGC, and the likes, they're already at the maturity stage. The market is matured. At this stage, the market does not move fast like it used to again. At this stage, you will see people buying secondary markets at this stage. There are barely virgin land, or even if they are virgin land, someone has bought before and is reselling. Those people who did land banking are the people that are reselling here. So that is how then you now move to what we call the saturation stage, then the decline stage. This is the mainland. My guy Flips, who would partner with you, demolish the property, your old house, and build a modern house for you. So all those old houses in the mainland, they demolish them and build new ones. That is what we call the renewal or the declining stage. That's what it is. That is the practice. In the area of the mainland, this is the stage most of them are. The renewal or the declining stage. Now, the question I want to ask, your approach to marketing, is it suitable for the stage that property or that location is currently? Your strategy for marketing. There are some areas you don't need to. Like in this point, right? At this stage, you don't sell the product. You sell the location and the upcoming development. That is what you sell here. You can't come here and start shouting, Dangote Refinery is coming anymore. Everybody's aware that Dangote Refinery is there already. Petrochemical is there, deep sea port is in operation already. People are already aware of Ibejileki and its prospects. So uniqueness, what is unique about your own product? That is what you sell here. You sell uniqueness here. Here you could want to sell, the location is what you sell here. What's the location? Some of you have how many of you are selling Ibadan currently? Ibadan. Okay, you sell Ibadan. What can you tell me about Ibadan? What is the uniqueness about Ibadan? One unique thing about Ibadan. For those of you who sell Ibadan, what's one unique thing about Ibadan?
Livelihood is not that expensive.
Okay, aside that, there's something I'm actually looking for, something that is generally known about Ibadan.
Food is cheap.
No, that's not what I'm looking for. Ibadan is it the largest city in West Africa?
Yes.
So these are facts. Ibadan has a lot of historic landmarks, figures, and all of that. Ibadan is a state or a city with a lot of history. Okay? The ancient nature of Ibadan. Those are the things you should be selling, not the product, because people don't really care much about the product. The upcoming development, the Shell project that will last for 20 years. The Shell gas project will last for 20 years in Ibadan. The dry seaports. These are the things you should be focusing on. These are the things that will make people to say, okay, this place has prospect. They are buying because of the prospect the place has, not because of that your land. After all, land in my village. Okay? So these are the things you need to take note of. So when you get to the growth stage, you are still going to sell location, but you start beginning now for developers that are smart, they will always try to be one step ahead. While they are here, they started preparing documents. Before others begin to think about document, they're already having the advantage of document. Our lands have C of O. Our land has this, our land has that. So what the document is one of the things you will sell here. When you come here, you begin to sell your development. What is unique about your development? So, are you the one that is building a bungalow? Forget to put staircase. When you finish, you start looking for where to add the staircase. So you need to build your uniqueness. That is what you need to focus on here at the development stage. Okay? So, these are the stages of development in the real estate market. Anywhere you find yourself, whether in the country or outside the country, every city goes through this stage. And like we said earlier, this is like all you need to undergo. Then some go through it very fast. Some go through it slow, depending on some factors: government intervention, market situation, economic factors. A lot of things would influence how fast the market go through this phase. Property appreciation. One of the emerging markets, when I started explaining about Asaba. Asaba, uniqueness is peace. It's peaceful. That is the major thing Asaba has to offer. One unique thing Asaba has to offer is peace. Proximity to the largest market in Africa, the Onitsha market. And that market started booming, or the Asaba real estate market started booming during Okowa's time because of the level of work he did. So these are things, so you need to know. And another thing about this market, so currently, this market is still here. It's still here. The growth stage. That's where the Asaba market is. The Asaba market is experiencing the growth stage. Now, for it to move from this growth stage, there have to be some infrastructures that needs to be in place. There have to be infrastructures that need to be in place. The government need to, okay, of recent, who sent me that stuff even? About the waterfront that the government is currently developing. Commercial real estate is needed in a place like Asaba. Commercial real estate. Entertainment, because there are a lot of places they have only one mall, only one ShopRite, only one cinema. The second one has burnt. Only one park. So during the December period, the Mary and Babangida park was filled up with people, and somebody was doing the analysis and was calculating if, I think, is it 2,500 that be how much you pay to enter that place, or then multiply by the hundreds of people that were there on each day of the. The reason why, I was telling you, while I was there, I was telling them, the reason why the ShopRite, you have to book days ahead for their cinema for you to have space that period, because it's only one cinema and everybody wants to see movie. So for you to be able to gain access, so I was telling them, the reason why this cinema is booming, Genesis is booming, it's not because Genesis is so special. It's because there's no alternative. ShopRite, at some point, they will have to lock their door because of too much crowd. As in ShopRite locking door to say you can't come in again because of crowd. Why? Because there are no much alternative. So, for those of you who sell Asaba, you are not just going to sell Asaba telling your customer to come and buy land. You sell Asaba to tell your customer to see the opportunity in the commercial real estate. Because currently, There seems to be series of markets springing up. Nobody's occupying them for now, so I don't even know who is building those markets. Market is coming up in different places. Warehouses are being built in Asaba because most people who do business in Onitsha now lives in Asaba. So residential real estate is also skyrocketing. Asaba has one of the highest occupancy rates. If you build 100 houses in Asaba, before the end of the year, the highest that will still be vacant, residential houses, will be 5. Which means there's a possibility that all of them will be occupied. Agents are like demigod in Asaba. If you are looking for rental property, those guys will mess you up big time. They'll just be playing with your emotions. Why? Because they know that there are few houses as compared to the number of people looking for houses. So you need to understand because not just say we have land for sale. No. We have houses for sale. No. Build in places, develop in places where there is demand, and build what people are looking for. That's it. Develop what people are looking for. Build what people are looking for. So, with that being said, we've come to the end of your first model. Thank you. Questions? Saturation? Saturation, the market, like if you go to a place like Ikoyi, for example, right? Number one, properties have almost attained their maximum appreciation rate. That's number one thing you need to take note of in a place like Ikoyi. If the total appreciation life value of the property is going to be 1,000%, right? If that is the total life value of appreciation. Places like Ikoyi, they are already maybe around 800. The level of appreciation that property can appreciate will not be that much again, even if you buy. Okay? So those are the things you see there. Now, people are not even building the uniqueness. So people are looking at building high-rise. That's why most of the properties at that point, at this saturation stage, is where you see most of the time the city start going vertical. Okay? You hardly see any new project in Ikoyi currently that is not a high-rise. Almost every project you see coming up in Ikoyi is now a high-rise. Apartments, luxury. This is where you have the luxury market. Okay? That's what sell here. The luxury market. Not that Ekpe you people are mentioning as a luxury. That place is... There's nothing luxury about Ekpe for now. So, this is where you find luxury. The market is saturated. There's nothing you are looking for that you won't find. So people are being innovative in order to sell. Lifestyle is what sells here. The luxury market, you sell lifestyle, not the products. Here I say you sell the location and the opportunities that are bound. Here you sell the lifestyle. That is what you sell here. What it will feel like to live in Ikoyi, the connection, those are the things you are selling. The opportunities to the big boys in the society, that's what you are selling. The nightclubs, that's what you are selling. The parties, that's what you are selling. Not the product itself. Because there are people who would rather buy a 2-bedroom apartment in Ikoyi for 100 million than to buy a duplex in Shongotedu for 100 million. So these are things you need to know. So why are they buying 100 million worth of property of 2-bedroom apartment or even 1-bedroom apartment in Ikoyi and end up wanting, but you offer them duplex in Shongotedu, they'll tell you they are not interested. It is quality, not quantity anymore. Okay? So these are things you need to take note of. So don't just talk about the products. As you can see, it's a dry land. After all, water properties are even more expensive. That is what you don't know. Look at all the waterfronts, the developed area of VI, the waterfront. See how expensive they are. So water is not a disadvantage. Oh. It depends on the period you are. If you are here, water can be a disadvantage. But if you are here, water is not a disadvantage. Water is an advantage. Because the different types of property that sells or that are more expensive in the world, mountain-top property, waterfront property, or hilltop property, these are the properties that are more expensive in the world. So, at this stage, the person that is buying here is poor. He doesn't have money to be able to develop that place. He's looking at the sound feeling he's going to do. So don't give him waterfront property because he will not buy. It is a disadvantage to him. But at this point, when the city has developed completely, he is looking at, if I build a lounge in this place facing the water, only him can tell the value he can get without you saying much. I'll build a lounge here. I'll build a club here that is facing the waterfront. When he thinks of this, he will buy. So know where your market is, or the city you are marketing that product, know where it is in this, and know the kind of message to use in your marketing. All right? Any other question? Question? All right.
When you were talking about the positions of African countries in real estate markets, did you tell us the...
Okay. I'll just show it on the screen. I think I should have it on my system here. Or let me just mention them. Cape Town. Johannesburg, Nairobi, then before you have Lagos. You have Kigali, and so on. So, with these things you know, this helps you better position your past or miss things in the past. For example, if while growing up, you never had a car in your family, when you get to start working, most of the time, one of the things you see having a car as a big deal. One of the things you want to focus on is to own a car. Let me give you a funny example of myself. While growing up, I had an uncle who was even my namesake, Chris. They call him then, though late now. He was the black sheep and the big boy of the family. He had money, and he was living very carelessly. One thing I noticed about him is that he comes to, whenever, he doesn't like to stay throughout for a family meeting. The first question we just ask, how much do we need? He drops checks and leave. He never carry cash. He was always writing check. So I felt to show that you have, while growing up, I felt, that means to show that you have made it, you have to be writing check. Unfortunately, when I grew up and started making money, check was not really a big deal anymore. But I refused to miss the opportunity. I still give check. Especially, I remember when I started my first business, I made sure I had check. Even the security in the premises, I pay him with check. You have to go to the bank to collect the salary with check. So the point I'm making is that was a perceived value, something I missed in my childhood that I still desire so much. So sometimes that is what people perceive as value. That thing you miss, I tell you that you can get it again. That is a perceived value. Another perceived value is something in the future that I wish to have. So that is another perceived value. Okay? Something everybody is having Okay, and most of the time, the easier or the common way most of you market real estate is from that perspective. You are poor now. When you buy land now, you will get money in the future. That is how some of you market real estate. Okay? Invest now. Okay? Do away with, what do you call it, early gratification. And in the future, you have more money. If you invest now, you have more. So what you are promising is the future. Okay? Now, there are also people who have certain values that are now, things that they need right now, things that everybody is having, and they want it right now. Okay, that is another person. So you can market real estate from any of these angles. So you're either marketing real estate from the angle of buying the future, buying the present, or buying the past. So how are you marketing your own? Is it only the future? Some people don't need the future. They need now. And that is why some of you do buy back or buy this, buy that, buy and return. All of those buying, you guys, the cash back and the likes, is for today. Okay? Immediate gratification, immediate profits. I don't want to wait. Most of you shout, buy land and wait. What if I die before the waiting is over? So these are the things you need to. So people don't want to. There are people who don't want to wait. They need the result now. And one place I've noticed that buying people who don't want to wait is Asaba. Currently, you can buy land in Asaba. Next week, you are selling it, and you are making money on top, especially in the developed environment. Secondary market is booming in Asaba. In most of these estates, like the Federal Housing Estate, last year, some of the properties will help some clients to buy at maybe 75 million, 80 million. Now, one of them have resold for 130 million. So in fact, the estate will contact you. We have buyers, so do you want to sell your property? As you buy now, maybe in the next 2 weeks, they are calling you again. Somebody wants to buy that property you just bought. Do you want to resell? So the secondary market is booming. So people are just doing buying and selling. So they are trading big time real estate. The secondary market is booming. And that's why I tell most of the developers, at this stage, now Asaba is now looking for ready to build. They don't want to buy the future anymore. They are looking for ready to build. If they buy now, the common thing you will hear from Asaba client is, can I start building immediately? Is it a buildable environment? And if you can promise that, they will buy. Okay? So these are the things you need to understand about value and all of that. Right? Any other question before we move forward? Okay.
So I know you've gone into detail with all of these stages, right? But would it be possible to get like a proof of concept where we have a particular case study of a place, let's say in Lagos, that has gone through all of these things?
Okay, I mentioned Ibejuleki here. 2014, this is where Ibejuleki was. Okay, 2014, this is where Ibejuleki, Ekpe was not even among them, but Ibejuleki itself was here. Now, currently, Ibejuleki, like I said, is currently here.
No, I mean one that has.
Okay, if you look at places like the Ikoyi houses, many years ago, they started from here. So currently, though Ikoyi is somewhere here, that is where Ikoyi is now. Then some part of, like I said, most part of the mainland have gone through these stages, when you, what do you call, Surulere, thank you. Surulere, first start, that is where they are. Like Flip now, most of his projects are around that Surulere area. I don't know how many of you know Flip. He buy a whole building, demolish it, and build some story building and sell the apartment. That's what he does. So that is okay. Any other? All right. Ask questions, so because if you don't ask, I explain less.
The 5-1 gets one free.
No, I didn't say that, please. No. When I mean small one, does it currently, any property that is at the development stage cannot be buy one, get two free. At the development stage, all these Ibejuleki properties, they are not expensive, so You can, properties that have title and the developer is actually working, you can see property, you can see them doing a buy one and get two free. So take note of that. So currently at the stage of the market, those are the properties you should focus on. For those of you selling Lagos property, focus on the properties that are at the development stage, which they have good title, the developer is working, that is fine. But that does not mean that if your customer demand for the other ones that doesn't, so you just need to give them the advantage and the disadvantage, because the truth is not everyone can afford the properties that are at the development stage. Most of them would want that one, but the end, they can't afford it. Okay, so there is still advantage on that, buying the cheaper ones, but you just need to point out the disadvantage to them. This one might not be developed now, but is in Ibejuleki or is in Ekpe, for example, and the development is coming. So when you buy now, work on your document. With time, make sure you work on your document. We can also guide you through processing of your documents. Then you can close the sale. There's no wrong thing in buying property without document. That's just the truth. It depends on when you are buying and what you do after you buy. Some people buy and go sleep. I don't get land. Okay? But the ideal thing is buy and start working on securing the documents. Okay? So that's it. If the person can't afford it, property at the developed stage, give them the ones they can afford. Okay? So that's just my point. So start small, grow higher. That is an option. Now, the reason why some persons can't sell here is because they lack the trust that the customers need. I was listening to my coach yesterday, and he was showing me one new statistics that came up. That for you to sell a product, the person must see that product 3 to 8 times. That's the minimum. And that depends on even the price of the products. Now, the question I want to ask, the people you want to sell to, how many times have they seen you? Huh? So that's the thing. Some of us are not, there's a principle of KLTT. Getting known, liked, trusted, then transact. I don't know you. I just see your product ad. The next you are asking me, when am I filling form? When I know you, it makes the process easy. When I like you, it makes the process easy. When I trust you that you've gotten it all, then you can start real-time transaction. So get known. So your first objective of marketing this year, as you attend this training, is that you want to increase your visibility by 500% this year. 500%. How many followers do you have? Increase it by 500%. So if you have 1,000 followers, what's 500% of 1,000? 500% of 1,000. 500,000. Added to the previous 1,000. That is, at the end of the year, you have 6,000. Okay? So that is focused on. The truth is, you can make a lot of sales. I'm not advising you to go and buy followers, so get known. Buying of followers is not a good thing. Let me make it clear now. Don't buy followers. So, if you get 6,000 persons following you, quality persons following you, right? You can be making sales without running ad. But some of you don't either have followers, or you bought your followers, or your followers are Malam in Sambisa that will be asking you for money Those are the ones you have. That's the reason you can't make sale when you post things. Marketing is not mandatory that you must spend money running ad on your products. Rather, you can focus on running ad to get more followers. So the more followers you get, as you post, they see. Okay? And because they have been following you and you are consistently posting, they get to like you, they get to trust you. Then it's easy to transact. I always ask this question. Look at your social media posts and be sincere to yourself. If you were a customer, will you patronize yourself? If you were a customer, be sincere to yourself. Will you patronize yourself? If you know you will not patronize yourself, then don't expect customers to buy from you. Are we together? Because our section, the bootcamp, is always for telling ourselves the truth. Okay, the harsh truth, then we'll now start the practical sections. So get known, get liked, get trusted. So when you do that, you'll be able to get your result. And that would also form the type of content you post. The content for getting known is different from the one of getting liked. The content that will get you liked is different from the one that will get you trust. Now, I always say that some realtors are too serious. That's why they are not selling. Every day, buy now. Tomorrow, buy now. Next tomorrow, buy now. You know a tire?
Or you miss out.
Buy. That's all you are saying. Now, for social media, or let me go with trust first. You can easily build trust by creating value-based content. Value-based content will get you trust. It shows your expertise in the industry. It shows you are an authority in the industry. It will easily get you trust. That's the thing. Now, that will get you liked are social content you post. Laugh once in a while. You're too serious. Okay? Laugh. Share funny content of your business, of your process. Join things that makes, if I'm depressed and I scroll through your page, will I be more depressed or will my mood be lifted by just scrolling through your page? Everything is not about just, you are a human. And remember, the platform is called social media. Don't remove the social aspects and be working with only media. It is social media. So the content you post should be social. It is social before business comes in. Let's socialize first before we start doing business. When I know you socially, I will like you. That lady that is always posting that thing, those funny content. That company that always posts funny stuff. That platform that posts motivational content. When time I feel, there are platforms I go to when I just want to relax. Like after this thing now, if I go home, I won't do anything. I'll just be scrolling through some certain people's social media handle. It helps me to relax. But if I scroll through some of your own, it will increase anxiety for me. Because the only thing you are shouting is buy, buy, buy. And when you don't have the money to buy what they're asking you to buy, depression will set in. So these are some of the things you need to take note of. So then getting liked. So when you run, some of you will know this lady. Few realtors in the industry. Juliet Achebe does it also. She will just use a picture. Nothing attached to it, just use it to run ad. These are strategies for getting liked. You see a fine, pretty looking woman or lady running, you just see a picture you will like. So that is the strategy. So it is not mandatory. Now for a company, for a brand, sell your why. Why will get you liked? Sell your why, that is if you even have one. What is your why? Beyond making money, what is your why? If you don't have one, create one. Even if it's a lie for now, create it. The lie will later become your reality tomorrow. Create a why. That is the point. Create a why. Why are you in the business? What do you want to do differently? What is your process? When people say, you can't tell people to trust you. It is your process that will determine whether they trust you. So market, even your process is a content. How you verify land is a content. How you clear land is a content. How you dig your foundation is a content. You guys are starting a new building project. There is content from day one to the end. There are different types of foundation. Why are you choosing that type of foundation you want to use? That is the content. The day that foundation is going to be dug, people, your media team will have to shoot video, interview the engineer. That is if the engineer also knows that there are different types of foundation. Let him talk about the foundation. Why that option of foundation? When he moves to the next process, that is another content again. Throughout the building process, every stage of the building process is a content. We have one young Joseph. This is all. He was working in a company that built houses like yours. They build houses and into development. Now the young boy below 25, he has resigned last 2 years, 2023, he resigned. He has started his own business, construction business, just because of consistent content I told him to create for 1 year. After creating the content over time, customers started reaching out to him. Can you build for us? Can you build for us? Can you build for us? Initially, I told him, be giving the contract to the company where you work and insist on being involved in every process to understand the process. When you now master the process and you believe you can do it your own, then you can resign. And today the boy is doing very well. He should have been in this training. Currently he's in Benin doing a project. So all by just creating content. There is no, as you can see in the content, there is no come and buy in the content. All the content is about is the building process. So your process is what builds trust most of the time. Don't tell me you have integrity. Let me see your process. Are we together? Are we together? All right. So getting known, getting liked, getting trusted. Let me just explain the last part. I put 0 here. Some of you are not observant. I put 0 here at the bottom part. But I believe that, Resida, you guys don't give any land for free now. Yeah, I put 0 there because what is 0? Things you can give for free. Okay? Investment seminars can be for free. E-books can be for free. Real estate investment tutorials can be for free. I use them to run ad. Okay? An educated customer is a very easy customer to sell to. So when you educate them first with either your ebook, so what are the things you know currently? You guys have a farm project, right? You have a farm project. Now, what are the things people need to know about farming for them to invest into your project? Use it to form an ebook. What are the things preventing people from buying or from going into farming? What are the statistics about farming currently? There are a lot of beautiful statistics that are out there about farming. Use it to write an ebook, and that is what you use to run ad. Okay? And when you use that to run ad, a lot of people will sign up to download the ebook. They give you their email, phone numbers, and names. So when you now run your second ad, now it is at that point, after running this first ad, to get their emails, your target might be 1,000 emails, or let's say 500 emails, right? 500 emails. After running this ad and getting up to 500 people to sign up to download the ebook, well, the next thing you need to do, I'm basically specific to you guys now. The next thing you need to do is use those email. On every digital platform, there's what's called retargeting, okay? You upload this email back into the platform and tell the platform to show the ad to only these people who you have uploaded their email. That is phase one. Now, if they are, after you show them that and they are responding well, you now need to tell the platform again to look for people that are similar to these 500 you just targeted. And the platform will look for over millions of people, depending on the locations you are covering, and will show the ad to them as well. So that's the secret. You just need to sell your product easily. For agriculture that people don't really know much about. Some people don't go into agriculture because they don't know much about it. They don't know how to farm. Because some people, I believe you must have encountered the question, if I buy the land, who will farm for me? Things like that. So those are the things that should form the ebook. The questions people ask during your sales process should form what your ebook should be about. You guys are a company. You can write as many as possible. It's not just one. On different subject matter. Some of you are now moving to Ibadan. I think your property is in Abeokuta or Ibadan. Which one? Huh? Some of you are now moving to Ibadan. There are people who still don't know why they should buy property in Ibadan for now. So you can create a documentary or an ebook talking about Ibadan in general. Okay? So these are things you need to do, and you get customers. Are we together? So that's why I put this here. So those are things you give for free. The only thing you are collecting from them is that they need to give you their email, phone number, and stuff like that. So that's it. It is after this you are now selling the core products, which is the plots of land you are selling and all of that, or the agricultural scheme you are selling. This is where it comes in. So for those of you who are realtors who are focused on selling land, people that have bought land of maybe 50 million naira, 30 million naira, it's easy to advertise houses to them. And vice versa. Okay? You can't be advertising land for some house for somebody that was struggling to pay 500,000 naira. Okay, so these are the things you just need to think of. So, I'm covering. Then another thing I will also advise you realtors here. Nero, what do you know about interior? For those of you who sell houses, interior is one of the things you need to think of going into, or partner with people who can deliver quality service in interior.
Madam Juliet is interior designer.
Sorry?
Madam Juliet.
Okay.
Yes.
So, okay, she.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the thing. So the money is not only in selling the land and the houses. Okay, there's so much money to be made in the value chain. When I buy a house, I need the interior decor. Okay? So that is another. So I'm giving you avenue to make money. Some realtors are already building. I think this lady also had a building project once, Ejiro, for a client. I don't know if she was able to deliver or not. So there are people who are building for their customers, realtors who are building for their customers already. I have realtors who are building for their customers. Especially these diaspora customers, they will that trust you with the buying land from you. They will also want to trust you with the building process. So you need to create a holistic service that I can get everything I want from one point. These are the things you need to think of. You might not even start from the building. It could be fencing. It could be fencing, helping your client to do a perimeter fence on his or her property. That could be where you start from as a realtor. You don't need to be the one to go and be calling bricklayer and be doing it. Just get an engineer. Let him give you his quote. And you do your markup. Most of the time, some of the clients I've seen with some of my realtors even still pay the realtor for their time outside the markup they've done. So that is business on its own. Some of you are leaving money on the table. There's too much money on the table. The product is not only about land and houses. Some of you need to learn how to manage property. I bought rental property from you. One of the reasons why people don't buy rental property is that they don't want to go through the stress of managing tenants. Some will even ask you, how will I get tenants? Who will be looking for tenants? Short lets. Can you manage a short let? How many can you manage? The people you're advising to buy short let, they buy, you don't waka, collect your commission, you waka. Who will manage the short let for them? These are all a holistic businesses that are involved in the process that most of you are not considering. So you need to put into consideration which of these can I do, so that you don't only wait for commission. All right? With that being said, everybody, you can stand up and stretch. For coming late, you are not going to eat on time today. Are we all following?
The product we are selling.
Okay.
Such that one does not, like the content we are creating, to make the atmosphere very calm,
Okay.
not covering the product itself. How do we balance it?
I would say 40, 60.
Okay.
Okay, you can break it down that way. But the major thing is, when you say creating content, I can create a funny content from a product video. You can create a funny content from it. Let me give you an example. Some years back, I don't know if they still do it, there's this delivery company, 1 December, they did an ad where the delivery person called a guy that was delivering something to him. The guy was excited, and on getting to his doorstep, the guy slapped him 3 times. And he was wondering, why are you slapping me? He said, your ex-girlfriend say, I should deliver 3 slaps to you. It's funny, but the name of that delivery company was well crested on the distance. And at the end, they ended the ad with, we deliver nationwide. So now that content or that ad went viral. Because even me, I shared it on my status. People started sharing it for free. Now, that is free advertisement. People that wouldn't have seen that ad before would have seen it because of the funny nature of the ad, okay, of the content. So it's just about being creative. What funny thing can I bring out of this whole thing, this content I want to create? That should be this thing. So because content advertisement is not only when you talk about the product. Some ad is just to make your brand to be noticed. The more I see your brand over either your logo somewhere, the more it registers in my brain. The more it stays. Because, for example, how many of your clients, if I ask you now, let me collect one of your client phone number and your client and call him or her now. Sorry, do you know any realtor I can buy property from? Let's see whether I will mention your name. Now, the thing is, they may have bought from you, but some of them don't remember you even. So when somebody asks them, where can I get property? They won't remember you because you are not top of mind. So the idea is always to be at the top of mind. So that is just the whole idea about marketing. So look for something to just be creative.
Can we share errors on the site?
What kind of errors?
While trying to make videos, sometimes we make errors.
A lot of mistake.
Yes, mistake.
Of course, that is content even. You laugh and all of that. the whole process of creating the good content you see, the everyday in the life of a realtor. Okay? These are contents. Anytime you project yourself to be perfect, you make people not to trust you because nobody is perfect. So don't always project yourself. You don't want to fault your steez. You just want to be perfect. No. You are human. Show some of your flaws. Be real, and people will trust you. And people will like you. That is how it works. So that is it. These people, did they go on mandatory break? I said stand up. I didn't say go out. Stand up is what I say. Where are the two people here? Stand up and stretch. Now, another thing I want you to also take note of is this. Have you noticed, if you are the type that watch movies, have you noticed that iPhones or Apple computers are more used in most foreign movies? And that is one. Then number two, if the person is a negative, the character is a negative character, they don't use Apple devices. Have you wondered why? They don't associate their brand with negativity. So, in as much as you want to create content, there are boundaries of things you don't associate your brand with. Like we were watching Waiter the other day. Waiter, I think, was shot in a Transcorp or something. Yes, they changed the name, but we still know that was Transcorp and all of that. There are some brands that won't do that. They won't want their... They even show an underground tunnel where people were coming from. That is telling people that, that if that place is actually part of the hotel, oh, so this is a place where people can escape from. The day they want to attack that place, they will go and block that, stay there and wait for them. The essence of the underground tunnel is for escape in terms of security threats. So these are the things there are things you should not associate your brand with. You will never see Coca-Cola is drunk everywhere, right? People drink Coca-Cola everywhere. But have you ever seen Coca-Cola where doing advert where they are being Coca-Cola is being used in an obituary or burial ceremony before? No, Coca-Cola represents happiness. So it is only, their advert is only done in places showing where people are happy. So for those of you who want to build a brand, you need to think about all of this. So what do you want to associate your brand with? What is your brand association? Negative or positive? Like, I remember sometime I was doing a strategy section for company. We were talking about celebrities we should look at, and somebody mentioned Portable. And and for some brand, they might want to go with Portable, but what they said their brand stood for Portable should not be associated with the brand. So you must know, what do I want to associate my brand with? These are things you need to always take serious. As a marketer, as a salesperson, there are things while creating those content, yeah, it's good to create content, funny content, but know that there is boundaries you shouldn't cross. Okay? All right. So we're gradually moving into advertisement.
So when is the first time?
When are we having the first meal, like eating? Like, is it a compulsory fast? I'm having my meal.
Our first break, I said, is by 2.
Wow. Fast 12.
But most of you came late, and I expect that you must have ate at home.
I left around 5:30.
5:30 from where?
Igondo.
Where is Igondo?
It's in Lagos, sir.
Okay, we'll look for a way to fast track the process. Don't worry.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so please, eyes on the screen. Media guys, off this set of lights here. Okay? It's fine. And hope it's not affecting you guys. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I want us to take note of, please, one house now, because we are going to things much more serious, please. So every now and then we hear the word, people always complain, I'm not making sale, I'm not making sale, I'm not making sale. I need more sales, I need more sales, I need more sales. Sales doesn't just happen. Sales is the end product of something. Sales is not the beginning and the end of a thing. Rather, sales is the end product of a certain process. Most of you don't have sales problem. Sales is not your problem. It's just that you don't have access to enough people who can buy what you are selling. That is the problem you have. You don't have access to enough people who can buy what you are selling. Now, let me ask it as a general question. I have up to 50 persons I'm following up right now. Let me see hand up. 50. I have up to 50 persons I am following up right now as we speak. Let me see hand up. 50. Only 2 persons. And that is even 50. Now the question is, what is your conversion rate? Because one thing is to have 50 persons, another is to know your conversion rate. If your conversion rate is 5%, what is 5% of 50? 2.5. So since we don't have points for a human being, that's 2. And another thing you need to note is this. You don't convert lead to customers. Yeah, you don't convert lead to customer. Everybody's saying, I want to convert lead, I have lead to convert to customer. You don't convert lead to customer. You convert lead to prospect. It is prospects you sell to, not lead. You don't sell to a lead, you sell to a prospect. So we need to first of all understand what's the difference between a lead and a prospect. A lead is anybody or the contact details of a person who has shown interest in your products, your services, or your brand. That is whom a lead is. So if I show interest in your products, your services, or your brand, I am a lead. But the question is, am I qualified to buy what you are selling? In every market, there is a total market, There's the available market, there's the qualified market. So, if I show interest in what you are selling, do I have the money to buy it? After all, who needs the latest car here? Most of you have interest to own the latest car. But you don't get the money now. Somebody might run an ad. You might see the ad. Some of you, the one you have put in your, if you see the car you have put in your, your vision board for the year, or your dream car for the year, when you see that ad, I bet you want to like the ad. You want to click on that, see this my car. You start possessing it by fire. But that does not mean that you have the money right now, but you just have the interest. You have hope that one day I would like to own this kind of car. And some of you might already be working towards that car, but the money is not ready right now. So this year, I must buy a car, but let me be saving towards it. You might see an ad about that particular car. You might, okay, let me even make inquiry. This car I want to buy, how much is it even? You start making inquiry about the car. But that does not mean that you are ready. So, every lead is not a prospect, but every prospect is a lead. So, for me to become a prospect, I must be a lead first. So, the difference is that one is ready and qualified to buy. So, after all, some of you have been getting lead. Aboki has been contacting you from Meduguri now. Why have you not been selling? So those are not lead. So sometimes I hear people say, so when you talk about your conversion ability, if you have 100 leads, out of the 100, some are qualified in terms of money. They have the money to buy, but not ready. Right? Some are not qualified at all, which means they don't have the money, not qualified. Right? Then some are qualified and are ready. So those are the ones you are looking for. But the ones that are qualified and not ready, you can still be working on them. Those are the ones you nurture. So, and most of the time, this is how it works. In every 1,000 persons your ad gets to, 10%, 5 to 10%, let me just put 10, 5 to 10% will likely be interested. So what's 10% of the people? 100. And now, when I say interested, it's not that they fill the form. They will click on the ad. You get, out of every 1,000, you might get 100 clicks. And out of every 1,000 clicks, you might get another 10% that will fill the form. So how many impressions would you have gotten? Let's make now it's time for calculation, please. For you to get 10 clicks, right? You need to get 1,000 impression. We actually call it impression, right? Or views, as the case may be. You need to, 100. For you to get 100 here, which is clicks. For you to get 100 clicks, you need to get 1,000 impression. Now, for you to grow this to 1,000, because after this, you now have leads. Right? So for you to get 100 leads, how many? This would also be another 1,000. When here is 1,000, how many will be here? 10,000. Thank you. 10,000. So, now, the last ad you ran before you turned it off, how many people did the ad get to? That's your ad you ran for 2 days. Mr. Chris, I want to run ad. How many days? Is 2 days not enough? 2 days is enough now. So, and how much do you want to spend? 2,000 naira. That's 4,000 naira for the 2 days. So, let's come to reality. Advertisement is expensive. Let's just have that reality in our mind. Advertisement is expensive. But does it work? Yes. Okay? I can mention some of the top-selling realtors in this Lagos. Those that I've worked with or that I'm still working with. And I can tell you their advertisement budget is amazing. Okay? So, it pays if you have someone who is doing the right thing for you, or if you are doing the right thing, it pays to run ad. Okay? And like I also say, you might not get the result instantly. The problem is that most of you are looking for instant result. That's another problem most of you get. You're looking for instant, who will buy now. It doesn't work that way. Like I was telling someone, this lady, Tosin, of Wing Cover. Some of you see, sorry?
She just mentioned her name now.
She's my client. And we've been working together. Let me say approximately the plan we have is a 4 years, 3 or 4 years plan that was set out. And there is milestone for everything. I can tell you that 60% of the people who bought property from her last year are lead we generated 2023. Not 2024. I mean, before now, her Facebook page was bad, so I used my company page to run the ad. So last year, most of the people we got previous year started reaching out. I saw this, I saved this page. You advertised to support. Some of the property they showed interest in have been long sold out. I'm around now. I'm sending someone for inspection and all of that. Instead of some of them felt that was her page, so they were reaching out to me directly, while some who already had a contact were calling her directly. So the point is that advertisement pays, but it's an investment. Just the way you advise people to invest in real estate, that is how you too also need to understand that marketing or advertisement is an investment that will need to yield results over time. It's cumulative. Okay? So that is it. So, okay, let's proceed, I think. Yeah. So we've talked about lead. So now that we've mentioned leads, so the process itself, lead generation is the process of identifying and attracting potential customers, lead, for a business, product, or services. It involves different strategies and tactics designed to capture blah, blah, blah. So the point this is all about is that there's a process about it. You must first of all identify. So the first thing to running ad is identifying. So who are the kind of people you want to sell to? Let's start from there. Now, everybody, you're writing material now. Let's start identification. Who is your ideal customer? I need a description of your... Now, I want to believe that almost everybody here have sold once before, right? You've sold to one customer before. Now, describe that your ideal customer. Among all your customers, which is your favorite? Describe that customer right now in your writing material. If he's a male, age range, where he lives, the nature of his job or business, married or single, what digital platform does the person use? These are the things I want to see right now. Everybody, let's do that now. Everybody, let's do that right now, right now. Your ideal customer. Among all the customers you've been selling to, don't write the exact name of the person. Just name that thing you are. Just give it a name. Mr. Abdul, Mr. John, anything. Just call it any name. But the point is that, number one, let the person, the name, the age grade, the social media platform the person is, the nature of the person's job or business, the person marital status. If you know the possibly know the institution the person attended, the person's month of birth, all of that. These are things you're supposed to know about your customer, especially you customer. Let me give you, some realtors are going far to make sales. That's in this industry. I go the extreme with some customers. Now, every property you sell has a subscription form. Now, that subscription form, why most of you are busy collecting information that are now useful for marketing, some realtors are printing and adding to that subscription form information they can use for marketing. They will list all the social media handles, all the social media platform, the platform where do you exist. We'll call that form, let's know you socially. So you see all different, which social media platform are you active on? The person will just check your username on that platform. So there are a lot of things they try to know about the customers. And these informations help them to run targeted ads. So people go wide. And before they return the subscription form to the company, they will remove that one that belongs to them. So they have an archive. Your month of birth, they have it there. So they are able to send message directly to the customer at that particular time. So I can run ad, when next is your birthday, I can even run ad targeting you, telling you that this time you are preparing for your birthday, reward yourself with a gift of an investment. So there are a lot of things people do. People go the extra mile. But back to the point. Have you finished writing? I'm done. Let me see your hand up. I am done. Let me see your hand up. You guys don't know your customer name. Only one person. Name, like I said, don't use the real name of the person. Age grade, maybe 20 to 50 or just something age bracket. Location, where the person lives is very important, like the city where the person is living is very important. The social media platform you know that the person is active on. The marital status of the person. If possible, things the person like. If possible, if you can get that, fine. This year, the thing like I mentioned earlier that customers are either created or diverted. The truth is, that person you want to sell to is following somebody. Somebody have the attention of that person you want to sell to. Who has the attention of the people you want to sell to? You need to think about that. Who are the people you want to sell to following? Why do we go on podcasts? Why do we go tell celebrities to advertise our product? Because they have the ears of your target customers. Who has the attention? If I am scrolling past, I just feel like scrolling through my social media, just scrolling through my feed. If I see you shouting, our new baby has just been launched, will I stop to listen to what you have to say? As compared to if I see Banky W talk about, comes up and say similar thing you are saying, who will I listen to? Or who would make me to stop? So who has the attention of the people you want to sell to? These are the things you need to. Who has the attention? What I mean by who has the attention, who are the people they follow? Is it Emanuela? Or who are they following? They love comedy. If they're following Emanuela, it must be someone that loves entertainment or comedy. So, what are the things they like? So the first stage is identifying your ideal customer. After identification of ideal customer comes attracting the customer. I always say that the best way to do marketing is to think from a fisherman point of view. If you want to catch fish, right? You use what? Hook. Either hook or net, right? Now, let's use the option of hook. You need bait, right? And the type of fish you want to catch will determine the bait you would use. Because if you want to catch a very big fish, you might likely have to use a smaller fish. There are some fish you want to catch, you have to use worm. Now, imagine you want to catch shark and you are using worm. Eh? Does shark eat worm? And that is how most of you are doing your marketing. You want to catch, and they ask you, who do you want to sell to? High net worth individual. Who do you want to sell to? High net worth. I'm wondering most of the time, how many high net worth individuals do we even have in this country itself? Who do you want to sell to? High net worth individual. And they look, where are you looking for it? Inside Facebook and Instagram. When you can easily find them on LinkedIn. When you can easily find them on Google. You are busy looking for them on Facebook and Instagram. You can't be looking for a shark inside a pond now. Sharks don't live in the pond. So, how do we attract the people you want to sell to? That's your ideal customer. What do you think they would see while scrolling and they will stop scrolling? What statement do you need to make? What can you use to get their attention? Some of the people you are following today, just one video of them you saw. Am I correct? You just saw one video, you like the video, what the person posted, and after you decide to follow the person. Like some days when I'm jobless, there are somebody I was following, I had to watch almost all the video on the person's channel. So, the point is, who are you following? Or who are those people following and what will get their attention? Because if an advert does not sell the product, an advert sells the click, not the product. That is what you need to know. When preparing your ad, the thing you want to use to run ad, don't focus on selling the product. Rather focus on the click. What I mean by that is, this video I'm shooting, will somebody see it and want to click? For them to click, it means the thing captured their attention. So if we cannot get my attention, I will scroll past. So the first thing is, when you post that, before you use that video to run ad, ask yourself, who are the people that will likely click on this? So advertisement sells the click and not the product. It is when at least I have clicked, then I will start seeing your offers. So you're the first, and in almost every advertisement platform, if you are using video, the first 8 seconds is the most important part of that video. If you can't make sense in your first 8 seconds, while you are busy introducing yourself, hello, I'm here again. My name is Pretty Realtor. I don't scroll past. We just launched our new baby. I'm not looking for a baby. I just scroll past. So this is how they keep scrolling. But if you mention something, or some of the ones, are you a realtor? What do you call it? Are you a doctor? Are you a lawyer? Are you an engineer? I'm a tech person. I don't scroll past. You didn't mention me, so I'm not part of the people you want to sell to. So how do you start the content you want to use to run ad is more important even than what you see in the entire video. So the first 8 seconds is the most important thing. And that takes me to communication in advertisement. 45, 10. Body language, tonation, words. So that's your video you are shooting. Your body language is credited with 40%. What will make people that watch that video? 40% is relying on your body language. When you say, I am very excited, we just launched our estate, your mouth is saying you are excited, but your body is saying you are not excited. The tone of your voice is sounding like, if you like, buy, if you like, not buy, concern you. How is your tonation like? Are you shouting? Or are you calm? What is the tonation you are using? The words you are saying is just some of the things we are doing here, what we are doing here right now, some of the things I say, by tomorrow if I ask you for them, you won't remember them. But some of the illustrations I used, you will remember them. Or most of the illustrations I used, you will remember them. So, your body language and your tonation, learn to work on them. That's the point I'm making. Fix them. It is more important. When you see confidence jumping from one corner to another in our videos, there is a reason for it. When you see people, you want to focus on, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to speak well. While you are busy trying to speak all the English in the world and looking for the word that ends with zim, zim. This was, people are busy scrolling past. What is this one saying? Because your body language is not expressing what you are communicating. It has to, your body language, your tonation has to express the meaning of your words. So it's not just about making video. It's about expression. How do you express what you are saying? Your courage. Some of you want to sell 1 billion naira property, one single property, 1 billion. But your courage does not show somebody they should transact 1 billion naira with. I believe in grace, but I believe in hard work too. If you know you can build your courage. There are some people who will never do some certain transaction with you because of your courage. Nobody wants to be your breakthrough in this world. Nobody wants to be, okay, let me just buy from her to help her. Maybe it's your family member or your uncle. Even some of them, there are some transactions they will not do with you. When they see that you don't have what it takes to pull that kind of transaction. So, these are very important because these are the secret of advertisement is not in the targeting. The secret of advertisement is in the content, not the targeting. Because there's something we call relevancy score. What relevancy score means is that the people you are targeting and all you are saying and all you have written, how relevant is all of these things to this person you are targeting? If it is not relevant, your advert, even if the advert is shown to those people, your advert will be more expensive. You pay more when your content for the advert is not relevant to the person you are targeting. That is, so when you are busy looking for 2,000 naira to run ad, first of all, ask yourself, how relevant is my ad to the people I want to target? First thing about relevancy is dependent on who is following you. If you have more of, let's say, doctors that are following you, the platform by default feel that this ad should be seen by doctors. Though you didn't target doctor, but they notice that it is more of doctors that are following you. By default, they expect this ad to go to doctors first. Now you are busy targeting a politician that you don't have that is following you. That already hike up your advertisement cost. And the content of the advert is not even relevant to the politician you are targeting. Okay? So these are things you need to take note of. Advertisement is very sweet if you understand some of the underlying principles. Just the basic underlying principles works. Okay? All right. We had a Zoom class the other day. How many of you attended these two Zoom classes? Last 2 Zoom classes we had. Okay. Yeah, they were all our classes hold on Sunday. Resida, you guys attended one and didn't attend the other. I don't think I saw you. You sure? Okay. Okay, so okay, I did not attend, let me see on up, so that I know where I'm starting the class from, because I'm moving to practical now. We should have Facebook business managers accounts. Let me see hand up, business managers accounts. Mental business suite. When I can go to Facebook mental business suite, that's what I mean by business manager. Business suite. Please, let's be serious. So, business suite. I have a Facebook ads account. Let me see hand up. Ads account. I don't have ad account. Let me see hand up. Okay. 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 So this is it, please. Eyes on the screen. Business suite, ads manager, ads account, then campaign, ad set, ads. Okay? These are the ones you create. You create when you have a Facebook profile. For some persons, they have to create their business suits by creating the Meta Business Suite account, or the platform automatically creates it for them. Then you need to have a page. Then you have your profile before all of that. Then the ad account is what determines whether you can run ad on the platform. Then, provided you have that, you can click on Create Campaign, and you move on and on and on. Okay? So now, campaign, I will start from here. These ones are just things you create. This is where you pay your money into when you want to run the ad. Okay, your ad account is where you pay the money into, or you save your card there. But I will always advise not to use the option of saving your card there. Use the pay you option. You transfer the money into your ad account. So it does start calling me in the middle of the night, shouting they are debiting me. Okay, so campaign. Now, what do we mean by a campaign? Campaign is an objective. Okay, so I want to run a lead generation campaign. I want to run an awareness campaign. I want to run an engagement campaign. I want to run a traffic campaign. Okay, all of these are examples of campaign. Now, for a realtor, which of these is advisable for you to run? Engagement, lead generation, mandatory. Then you can, if you have a website, which I will advise everybody here, especially if you are a realtor, an independent realtor, it's good you have a website. Because with the cost of advertisement that keep going up, if traffic ad are cheaper than the other forms of ad. If you are running traffic ad, which means when they click on the ad, it takes them to your website. It is cheaper. And it also prevents you from getting a bookie, okay, that will contact you and say, you should send him money. So take note of that. But if you don't have a website, in fact, if you have been in the industry for at least 2 years, you should have a website. So, website is mandatory for part of your business, one of the tools you need. Because imagine tomorrow, Facebook close your account. You start all afresh again. Okay? So, they have the right to do that. So, the idea is move people from the platform you don't own to the platform you own. You don't own the Facebook platform. You don't own the Instagram platform. You are moving people from there to your own platform. That's what you should be doing. Not setting up a shop directly on their platform. Because tomorrow anything can happen. And you have to start all over again. Okay? So take note of that. So that's for campaign. Now, once I want to be known, it's good I run either a brand awareness or an engagement campaign. I want to be known. I want to be liked. Those are the kind of this thing you run. Now, if I want to be liked and trusted, if I want to be liked, I can also do engagement campaign, especially engagement. So you create value-based content where you are talking about real estate investments and all of that, and you run ad with it. You are talking about a project and you run ad with it, those will sell. Okay? Now, but if you want to start transacting, you move to lead generation. Transaction is lead generation. If you want to start selling. Now, the problem is that most realtors leave engagement, they leave ad that will get them known, they leave ad that will get them like, and move straight to transaction. And that is why they struggle. Because if I don't know you before, just like you go to the supermarket, maybe you see a new brand of water. Even though it's cheaper, if you don't know it, you'll be skeptical whether should I buy this one? How am I sure it's a good water and all of that? Though it's cheaper. So being cheap does not mean the point is being cheaper does not mean you even get customer. Because if people don't know you, they will still doubt whether to go with you or not. Okay? So so getting known is very important. So now, once you've done that, the next stage here is called the ad set, and this is ad set is the same thing as your audience, the people that you want to see your ad. That is what this section is about, the ad set. Okay? Now, the third part is the ad, the content of your ad, the video, the flyer, anything you want to use to run the ad. That is what we know as the ad itself. The write-up, everything formed together to form the ad. Okay? So it's not, so what you are running is a campaign. And now if you notice, I have multiple ad sets and multiple ads. That is what even makes it a campaign. But what most people do is they run one campaign, one ad set, and one ad. That is not correct. You see MTN doing different types of ads at the same time, different videos of the same product. Okay? They are talking, you see some big brand, when they are selling one product, but different content they are using to sell that one product. There's the content, there's what always called the primary content that is robust, talking about everything about that product. Then you have what we call, the word is not even primary content, rather the word is the cornerstone content. Then you now have other sub-contents that still emphasize on what you have seen. Okay? So if I see video 1, right? And I don't really like it that much. Or maybe I did not respond to it. When next I come online, the platform will feed me with video 2. And if I still did not respond, the platform will feed me with video 3. Okay? That is how the platform works. But if you have one video alone, it gets to a point where you have what we call ad fatigue. Because the platform is tired of showing the same people one video over and over. But if there are different content on the platform decides, okay, we have shown him this one. Let's show him this other one. Let's show him this other one. That's how the platform works. Are we together? So that is the structure of advertisement, of a campaign. A complete campaign is not supposed to have less than 3 videos, at least.
Running at the same time?
Yes. And that is also the only way you can keep your video short. Because most of the time you want to pass all the message on one video and the video becomes too long. But if you have multiple videos, you'll be able to, if you have to shoot multiple videos, you'll be able to pass the message in bits. Short. Because I will really, in as much as I'm teaching you Facebook and Instagram ad, I will be laying a lot of emphasis on YouTube and Google, because those of you are those your 1 billion and how many billion sales, please, you can't easily achieve it with Facebook and Instagram. Let me be frank with you now. If you are looking for ready-to-buy customers, you will find them on Google and YouTube. And I will spend more time. Most of our previous training, I've spent more time on Facebook and Instagram. This year, I promise to spend more time on YouTube and Google. Okay? So the thing is, Most of you can't run YouTube or Google ad because their videos are always shorter. Imagine that those videos that count when you go to YouTube, you want to play, it will be counting 15 seconds and all of that, that counts down. So what that means is that your video must be 15 seconds. Before you finish introducing yourself, the video don't end. Okay? So these are the things you need to take note of. So, multiple videos. Now, one of the questions I get most of the time is that, should the video be of the same product? The ideal thing is yes. The ideal thing is yes. But most of the time, being a realtor, you want to minimize your expenditure and all of that. So we advise, okay, you can use videos of different products. But the ideal thing actually is that it's supposed to be video of one product. Okay? So, the idea, remember, is that they are interested in property A does not mean that they will end up buying that property A. They might end up buying property C. So the idea is just to get them to show interest. That's your focus. The focus of the advertisement is to get people to show interest. That's all. Ready to buy people that will show interest. People that will say, I'm interested. Okay? That is what you are looking for. Let me even ask, how many of you here have a website? I have a website. 2. Companies obviously have. You have a website? Because I don't know you don't have. I didn't know you have now. That's why I'm laughing. Okay. Who needs a website?
The website is on my material bill, so I still need one.
Who needs a website, Nee? Who needs a website? Aside those that works in organizations and all of that, who need independent realtor? Who needs a website? Okay, I'm going to give you a website offer right now. Right now, a website offer. In the last Zoom training, I told you how much we build a website as an organization. I don't know how many of you were in that live Zoom meeting. Sorry?
You said 350.
350 minimum is what we build a website.
That one like Eden was Zoom.
Yeah, that is a listing website. I remember mentioning that your website should have a listing feature. That Eden Oasis, that's a website with a listing feature. That's what you should have. Okay? And now, how many of you, okay, you need, but you are ready. Let me see. They are not the same thing. I need, but I might not be ready. Okay. Because the truth is, everybody, as an independent realtor, you need a website. That's the truth. So, if you are ready from 350, I'll give you for 150. Your offer is just till Tuesday. Yes.
Give us till Friday.
Tuesday.
Till Friday. Till Friday.
Tuesday.
Friday. Please.
Huh?
1 week. Friday, please. 1 week. 1 week grace.
Joanne. Okay. Yeah, if you.
For commitment.
Yeah. Get a pen. Those that are interested and are ready, you can make a deposit and you have the privilege of getting it up to that Friday to pay orders. Make a deposit right now. Any amount. So get the details of those that are ready. Thank you. Now let's move back to what we are doing. Any other person? Their name and their phone number so you can know how to reach out to them. Okay, let's proceed. So, how many of you here are with, okay, at this point, everybody to your system now. Your system. Go to, bring out your system now. Everybody can bring out your system now. Joanne, when you are done, go to the reception. When you are done, go to the reception. Ask, let's take this part serious. Let's keep our phones outside and focus on doing the business of the day, please. Business of the day. Okay, so why are you breathing heavy? I will advise everybody to follow and understand what I'm going to be doing. Apart from Mr. Francis and the other lady who is left here, that is not yet here. Who is not yet? Who is supposed to be there? Where is he?
I think he's making call.
Okay. Then, okay, let's proceed, please. Have logged in into my Facebook account. Let me see hand up. These parts, keep in for the way some of you are so attached to your phones. This part, if I've moved forward, I've moved forward. I might not be able to repeat myself. So let's focus, please. Let us focus. Okay? Leaving your phone for a few hours will not do you any harm. All right, so to run a Facebook ad, the first thing you need to do is to log in into your Facebook profile, which is you go to facebook.com and it takes you to your profile. And to record this section.